Welcome to this educational tip brought to you by the Certified Horsemanship Association. I'm Dave Dellin, the Director of Judges for the American Paint Horse Association. And today we have the registered American Paint Horse, Ultimately Dirty, and his owner Helena to help us with the fundamentals of showmanship from a judge's perspective. What the judges are looking for in the showmanship is the communication between the handler and the horse. The showmanship class was designed based upon the conformation class or halter classes as to see who was the best handler for their horse in a halter class. And that's really what we're trying to evaluate and see what kind of communication is going on. So the way a judge does that is by looking at how that handler presents himself, how confident they look, how tall they stand, how straight they stand, how relaxed and comfortable they seem, as well as how well that horse can lay out the pattern, okay? And the pattern is very, very important. The precision of that pattern is very important for you to do it, number one, correctly, but also very smoothly and with a lot of quality to that. So in today's pattern, what we're gonna do is walk from cone A to cone B. We're gonna stop and hesitate at cone B. Then we're gonna trot to the judge, set up for an inspection. When the judge is done inspecting the horse, they're gonna turn 90 degrees and trot away from us. So why don't we run through this pattern once and see how we do. As you can see, Helena has her horse set up nicely at cone A. When the judge acknowledges her and nods her head, she steps forward very nicely, walks right up to cone B, hesitates, trots off. Very good, trots straight to the judge. Gets set up, acknowledges the judge that she is set up. And as the judge walks around, we're gonna use the quarter method where every time I pass a quarter of the horse, she's gonna step back and forth, presenting her horse to me. So when I cross the middle, she steps over. When I come back to the front, then she steps back to that side. She then looks to me, I acknowledge, say, yep, you're done. She's then gonna pivot 90 degrees, very nice, and trot straight away from the judge. Notice how she's not looking back at her horse. This is a fad we've seen for many years where the exhibitor turns and looks back at the judge. That's very dangerous to be looking behind you while you're running in dirt next to a 1,000-pound animal. So the judges don't care about that. That's a misconception that we often see. Just trot away, look where you're going. It's much safer, as well as just as credit earning, if not more credit earning than looking back. Okay, let's do this pattern one more time. We'll try to kind of tighten some things up and increase her score. This is a scored class, and so in that pattern, she had a few little things. She was a little late on that jog departure. When she stopped right here at me, her horse kicked its hip out off the line just a little bit. So those things brought her score down just a little to where it was probably somewhere in the low 70s to high 60s range. So we're gonna see if we can't get that score up just a little bit by a few things. Okay, so Helena's set up nicely. I acknowledge her, have her step forward. There you go. Just walk with a purpose. Walk like you're confident, like you know what you're doing. Beautiful, good stop. Now be good, that was better, that was better. Straight to me, her horse's head and body straight in line with me. That looks much better. Very nice, way better on the setup. Very good, she's very crisp as she comes around there. Very nice. All this is very credit earning. Very good, very good. Her timing was excellent through that whole portion. Had a little movement to that back foot on that last pivot. That'd be a minor fault. Very nice on the trot away, okay? So the overall portion of that pattern was better. It was more confident, it was more precise, therefore having more quality to the run and earning a higher score, except at the end when her horse moved that back foot, then that took a 5-point fault for that and lowered her score for 5 points. So we're somewhere back in the same range of that low 70s. Judge acknowledges her, Very confident here. There, walk strong. Very good. Stop, nice. See how she stopped with her horse's head and neck between the cone? Okay, so on that stop and hesitation in the middle of the pattern, notice it didn't say to set up. So the horse isn't required to be square there, but if a horse does walk up and stop completely square, that would be even more credit earning to the judge, because it shows us that you've really been working with that horse a lot at home and you guys are really communicating well. Remember, that's the key to the showmanship. We're trying to evaluate how well the handler can communicate with their horse. Energy, energy, let's go. Need to be more precise on that departure. Good, really good on the setup. That's the kind of setup we're really looking for as very credit earning, because it was both very correct as well as fast. You never want to sacrifice correctness for speed, but the ultimate is to be able to have both the correctness and the speed. Much better on her 90-degree turn. And a very nice trot away. So here, my only real critique is after her stop, she could have been a little more precise and taken off a little quicker into that trot. But other than that, that was a really good pattern overall. She showed me a lot of confidence, a lot of poise, looked like an exhibitor that I would want to have show my halter horse. Because of all those things, that then moved her up into the high 70s as far as her overall score. It would be difficult to get much higher than that on a simple pattern. The more complicated the pattern is and the more difficult the maneuvers are, then it's easier to get into the 80s and the 90s, all the way into the high 90s range. And you'll see that. But no matter what pattern you have at whatever horse show you're at, you want to make sure and do that as precisely as possible. Make sure and read that pattern, know that pattern, understand it. If you don't understand it, feel free to talk to the judge before the class starts, before you get in there, have them explain the pattern. Judges are people too, and they're very happy to explain anything they need to an exhibitor. We want everyone to have a good time and enjoy it. There's no tricks to it. But as an exhibitor, you have a responsibility, if you don't understand the pattern or you don't understand some portion of the class, to make sure and ask the judge and talk to him about it ahead of time. And that way you can do the best job you can as an exhibitor. Thank you.